Hi, it's Darnell with Wave Oven Recipes, and today I'm going to be cooking up a homemade pizza using a pizza crust that I'm going to make in my Kuissential Bread Machine, and then I'm going to be cooking up the actual pizza in the NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven. So the NuWave Bravo, it's a smart oven air fryer, does pretty good work on pizzas, and I can do a nice sized pizza in there. So I'm going to get started making that pizza right now. Alright, so this is my Kuissential Bread Machine. I'm going to be making a 1.5 pound loaf of pizza dough. I only need about half of that for the actual pizza, but the smallest it can make is 1.5 pounds. And I'm going to be following the pizza dough recipe direct from the Kuissential website to make this dough in their bread machine. The first thing you always do with your bread machine, this is like the kneading rod. You always spray that with some cooking spray. So just get that spray with some cooking spray, then you stick it in there, and you just have to get it in right and press it down. I just kind of like move it up and down a little bit just to make sure that oil covered the rod pretty good. That makes it easier to get that rod out after you make anything in the bread machine. Next, I'm adding a cup of pretty warm water. It's got to be about 80 degrees or so, so I just run some hot water for a moment and then use that. So put in my cup of warm hot water. Our next ingredient is a tablespoon of olive oil. So I've got some extra virgin olive oil. Just going to pour out a tablespoon, drop it on in there. Next ingredient is a tablespoon of salt. Be sure to use kosher salt in your bread machine. If you use like iodized salt, it will impede the process for most of the like doughs and breads and things that you use in your bread machine. So I always use kosher salt in my bread maker. Alright, the next ingredient is going to be 3 cups of bread flour. So I'm going to start scooping those in now. Alright, now that I've got my bread flour in, I'm going to take the tablespoon that I have the salt in and just try and make you try and dig a well in your flour to put your yeast in. You want your yeast on top in a small little well of flour. You don't want your yeast hitting your other wet ingredients, or it'll start activating too soon, and you don't want that. So I've got my well there, and I've got what I hope is about 2 teaspoons of dry active yeast that I'm pouring in the well. If you if you have bread machine yeast, then definitely use that. That works better than just the regular old dry active yeast if you have it. So with that, everything is in as far as ingredients. Alright, now that all ingredients are in, I've turned the bread machine so that you can more easily view it. And I'm just going to hit the loaf button so that it switches to 1.5 pound loaf. Then I hit menu till I get to the option for dough, which is shown as option 9. So just keep hitting the menu button till I get 9. So it's going to take an hour 30 minutes. It shows you the exact amount of time it's going to take. That's always accurate. And so just going to hit the start button. It's going to start kneading the dough and such, but I'll let you hear just a moment of that, then I'll probably stop the recording and bring you back when it's done, because it's not loud for a long time, but like for the first few minutes it's loud, and then maybe it gets to another kneading step and it might make some noise, maybe 5 to 10 minutes each time. It does that maybe 2 or 3 times depending on what you're cooking, but other than that, it doesn't make a lot of noise at all. So just going to hit the start button here, and you hear it just starts, and it's just kneading the dough. So I'll bring you back when this is all done and we can start working on that pizza. Alright, we're getting to the last minute. This does some pretty loud beeping when it's done, so I'll spare you that and bring you back after the beeping is done. Alright, the dough is ready. Once it's ready, it just kind of defaults back to the #1 program on the bread machine, but just opening it up here for you. And here is, I just turned this to get it out. This is our completed ball of dough. 1.5 pounds of dough for pizza. Alright, so I've got my dough there, and I've got some other simple ingredients for this pizza. I'm just going to make a simple pepperoni pizza here. I've got some pizza sauce, some pepperonis, and some mozzarella cheese, shredded mozzarella cheese. And before I start, I'm going to get my NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven warmed up. I want to preheat it to 450 degrees. So I want it to be nice and hot when I put this pizza in. I'm just going to make the pizza up and put it right in there once it's nice and hot. I'm not going to pre-cook the dough or anything of that sort in this one. And to preheat, usually when I want to get up to 450 and I want to preheat, I'll just use the bake function because that has a preheat built in. But if you want to use pizza and have a preheat, this is what you do. So I'm going to do that here. Turn the smart oven on. You go on menu to air fry. Well, sorry. You go on menu to pizza. Sorry. I don't know why I did air fry. But you go to pizza. 450 degrees. The time, it shows 15 minutes. If it needs longer, I can add time during the cook. That's one of the benefits of this smart oven. Some smart ovens, you can't add time during the cook by just simply turning the dial, but you can with this one. So got 450 degrees. Now I want to have a preheat. So what do? I just hit the preheat button. So now there's a pre down there in the corner. And now it'll have a preheat. I hit start. It's preheating. So it will preheat to the designated temperature, and then we'll be able to start our cook. But while it's preheating, I'm going to go ahead and start putting my pizza together. You can hear that air fryer. It uses the fan, well, the type of air fryer fan, and it's very quiet. This smart oven's very quiet compared to some others that have a much louder air fryer fan, like the Power Air Fryer Oven 360. So I don't need all this dough, but you can see I've got pizza dough here. So I'm going to try and get this kneading rod out first of all. You always want to get rid of that thing. I'll just throw that over here on the side. Just going to try and maybe split this dough in two. Maybe I'll make another pizza later or something. But just going to take this dough. I'm going to get this cooking spray. I forgot to mention I have cooking spray. Just going to oil down my pizza pan. Since I'm not using a pizza stone, there's really no point to trying to preheat the pan. It doesn't yield very much benefit to preheat a pizza pan. It yields great benefit to preheat a pizza stone. So I'm going to get this stretched out. I'm just going to add some more. I may use it all after all. I didn't think I would need it all, but apparently I will need it all. So if you do this recipe, just take the whole 1.5 pound of dough and just, spread it out on make your pizza with it. I thought I would probably have far too much, but it seems I will have plenty enough with a 1.5 pound ball of dough. I know some of you out there are long-time pizza makers. I'm sure you'll have some comments for this, but if you use the whole piece to start with, you won't have any imperfections in your dough like mine, where I've kind of put pieces back in together, of course. Alright, now that I've pressed the dough out best I could, and it's just finished the preheat, it's going to do a 5-minute countdown. I've got 5 minutes to finish my pizza now. Alright, we got plenty of pepperonis and other toppings on. Well, the cheese and the sauce topping, I mean. But we got plenty of pepperonis and we got our pizza nice and made up. So, going to go ahead and open the smart oven door, slide our pizza in. I've got the rack on the second up from the bottom. Hit start, and it starts cooking. Like I said, I'll keep an eye on this and bring you back. All right, we're about 10 minutes in. It's looking like it's about done there. I know the cheese is really cooked. Some of the dough is the crust starting to brown. I'm gonna let the crust brown a little bit before I pull it, so the cheese might get a little more cook on it. Let's see, I can lower my top heating element so I can hit the top bottom button. I can lower that heating element. I'm just going to lower it down 10% so it's not getting any more heat from the top. And so that's you know, something you can do part way through. If you see your top's getting overcooked, just pretty much nearly kill that top heating element to stop the heat coming out real hard from the top, and just let that bottom cook out. So I'll just let that bottom continue to cook. I'm just going to kill the top heating element totally. It'll just be cooking hard from the bottom. Where's my top bottom button? There it is. So take that down to 0. And we got 3 more minutes. So now it's cooking only from the bottom up, just to try and get that crust a little more cooked. I don't want my cheese getting too much more top heat on it. You can also spin the pizza part way through. I could have spun this one and try and get that other crust, the other side of the crust more heated up. I'm going to actually do that now, though it's a little late. Paused, and I'm going to just pull it out and spin it. I am using the new NuWave Bravo. Some of you are keeping up with comments in chat. I was having problems with the racks on my previous NuWave Bravo continually falling. Got a new one as a replacement from Kohl's. Kohl's is real good about letting you replace things. And this one has no issues with the racks falling, so it's been working out better. So letting that cook continue. Still have the issues with smoky stuff if you try and cook bacon too hot, and the little noise that you might hear when it's plugged in, very faint noise. Those are still things that go on, but the racks have been great with this new one. So letting this cook continue. Just want to get that dough, that crust fully cooked on both sides. So halfway through, you probably want to just spin it. At about 7 minutes, probably be a good idea to spin it. I'm going to adjust the camera out while I get this out at the 14-minute mark. Alright, so I'm going to pause and just turn it off, and going to get my pizza peel. Actually, I'm going to turn my light on. Get my pizza peel and get that pizza out after 14 minutes at 450 degrees. Definitely recommend you spin after 7 minutes. Let me turn my light on, sorry. Didn't have my light on. Definitely recommend you spin at 7 minutes, so you can do a 14-minute pizza cook here instead of 15. But I think for a first shot at the homemade with dough from the bread machine, this came out pretty decent. I don't have many complaints as far as the looks, not too much. I'm going to go ahead and cut slices. Alright, I'm just going to take this piece right here and we'll plate that. Now it's time to get the camera adjusted, and we'll do a taste test of this homemade pizza with dough from the Kuissential Bread Machine and cooked in the NuWave Bravo XL Smart Oven. Alright, our homemade pizza. Here we go. Very good. Very, very good pizza. Turned out great. Gonna definitely be making pizzas like this from now on. Won't be getting any more of those Pillsbury pizza crusts. With those Pillsbury crusts, you know, they're kind of soggy coming out of the pack, you know. I like to heat those up because they're kind of soggy coming out the pack. You don't want to have sogginess in the final product, so I usually heat those up first. But this one, you know, you can just take it right out the bread machine, get it into the NuWave Bravo, cook up your pizza, about 14 minutes, good deal. And so that turned out pretty good. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick was the replacing the NuWave Bravo. If you didn't see some earlier videos where I was pulling things out and the rack would fall down, maybe you should see some of the other NuWave Bravo cooks to see. But if you're having a problem like that, just replace your Bravo. My replacement's working out great, and so no more rack issues, and that's a big benefit and a big safety prevention thing there. So anyway, you can find this recipe and others in printable written form at superwaveovenrecipes.com. Direct access to this YouTube channel is through waveovenrecipes.com. I'm on Twitter at waveovenrecipes, Instagram waveovenrecipes. There'll be pictures of this and other cooks are already there. Also, Patreon's patreon.com/waveovenrecipes. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with your friends. Of course, leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel, and good eating.